The scores on the Algebra 2 final are approximately normally distributed with a mean of 150 and a standard deviation of 15. So before I even look at the questions, I'm going to label two things. I'm going to label all of the things on the horizontal axis, and then I'm also going to put in my percentages. So I know that my mean is 150, that goes in the middle, and then going to the right, I'm going to be adding 15, which is my standard deviation. And then going to the left, I'll subtract 15. So now I have everything on my horizontal axis labeled. The next thing I want to do is put in my percentages. And hopefully you have these memorized. We do it so often that it happens without you even noticing that it's happening. So I have 34s and then 13.5s, then 2.35, and then 0.15 for the very ends. All right, question A says, what percent of the students who took the test scored above 180? So if I find 180 on my horizontal axis right here, and now I'm going to add all of the percentages, so the red numbers that are to the right of 180. So that would be 2.35 and 0.15. So if I add 2.35 and 0.15, it gives me 2.5. So there are 2.5% of the students who scored above 180. Part B is kind of a tricky question. It says, if 250 students took the final exam, approximately how many scored above 135? So this is a two-part question. It's not asking us the percentage like part A, but we need to find the percentage in order to complete this problem. So let's first find the percentage of students who scored above 135. So here's 135 on the horizontal axis, and I want to add all of the percentages that are to the right of that number. So that means I'm going to be adding up 34, 34, 13.5, 2.35, and 0.15. And if you add up all those numbers, it's going to give you 84%. But like I said, that's not our answer. It's actually asking us if we had 250 students, how many of them? So how many actual people does that mean? So we have to figure out what is 84% of 250. So if I take 250 and I multiply it by 84%, which for most of us means multiplying by 0.84, since I don't have a percent button on my calculator, and that gives me 210. Which is actually the answer to this question. So what this means is there are 84% of students scored better than a 135. And so since we were talking about 250 students, that means that 210 of them would score better than 135.